Garuda King with the 49th parallel, bringing to you another YouTube first review on the Sabre D Abattis machete, also known as the Coup Coup knife. This little history. Well, first I'll go over the specs about it. The overall length of this blade, this knife machete, is 20 inches from tip to hilt. The thickness on it's a 1/4 inch thick. It's a flat grind. It weighs 1 pound, 14 ounces, so it's a heavy knife. A little history about it. It was developed and produced during World War I for the Senegalese French colonial troops. It was issued as a tool, but became a pretty notorious CQB weapon in the trenches during trench warfare. This one's made by Saut du Tarn, and it's dated 1915. So this blade is 101 years old. Still got a really beautiful patina on it. When I found it, it was heavily rusted. I was able to knock back a lot of the rust, but keep the patina on it. History of this knife and how I come about it, real briefly, is the original owner of it brought it back from World War I. He fought in World War I, brought it back, came to the North Cascades to live after the war, and became a mountain man, miner, living in the North Cascades along the 49th parallel. He had about 8, 9 kids, big, well known in the community. Had pack trains. His pack train company and him and some of his sons were the lead guides for the Jack London film, A Call of the Wild, that starred Clark Gable in 1935. That was filmed up in the Mount Baker Wilderness area, and they enlisted Charlie and his family into helping getting the cast and crew up there and overseeing their well-being and being taken care of and stuff like that. After that, they stayed up in that area. Was avid miners. His last son, his youngest son, was born in 1915 and passed away in 1980. He was a notorious mountain man of the North Cascades. They consider him one of the last mountain men of the North Cascades. Right up on the 49th parallel is where he lived. Had many cabins out in the wilderness. Was an avid gold miner and mountain man. And then I think it was the summer of 2012 or 2011, we were out looking for his home site and his cabins, and stumbled upon one of his old cabins that the Forest Service didn't burn down, and fell into a cache. And in this cache there was his old horse tackle for his horse. Oh, excuse me. And many other things, old, food supplies that were rotted out, of course, because he passed away in 80 and went untouched pretty much from 80 on until we found it. And there was some other remnants that other people were there, but they didn't find anything of value. So we found a few things we brought out. One was the Sabre. Brought that out. The handle on it was pretty rotted. I replaced it with a cypress handle, which is a softwood, and I ended up cracking under the abuse. So just recently I put a tiger wood handle on it, did it myself, built a custom sheath for it, did kind of an engraving on there in memory and honor and dedication to the last member of the family that carried this knife. I've got his initials on there, old growth cedar tree, and the 49th parallel, that's what that represents. Do some more work on it as years pass by. Significant things happen with this knife. I'll add that to the sheath. It's a very heavy knife, very powerful knife. after I found it, I researched on it, and some knife guys were telling me it was just an old 1800s meat cleaver. It wasn't until recently and more searching that I found out what type of knife it really was, the machete. So, really pleased to own another badass blade. This is a beast. It's been down for a while. Didn't have a sheath for it. When I found it, it was just the blade. The sheath was completely rotted to nothing. So, made a sheath, got the handle on it, put a pretty good edge on it this morning. So, we're gonna see what's like in action with this, with all this brush back here. I'm gonna kind of pull back the camera a little bit to get a wider view and show you guys what this thing's made of. So, back down to the alder, green alder, real tough stuff. This is about a good don't cut like the kukri. Let's go over and get some. There's a nice little thicket over here that could probably show us. That's a good 2.5 inch. Man, it's heavy to swing. This thing is heavy. Whew, you can feel that in your forearm. Swing this all day, you'll have some massive forearms. This knife has cleared I don't know how many trails, and not by my hand, but by previous owner's hand. Probably butchered more elk than I've seen in my life, mountain goats, bears, building cabins. Probably saw blood, World War I on it. So there's quite a bit of history with this knife. Very thankful to own such a piece of history, not only when it comes to military knives, war relics, but just local history also. That it was came back from the war by Charlie, was given to his son. His son used it all his life. Was used on the expeditions for Clark Gable and the cast and crew for Call of the Wild. So a lot of rich history with this knife, a lot of energy with this knife. You can definitely feel it in the steel that this thing has seen. If this knife could talk, man, it would tell you some really good stories of where it's been. 101 years old, steel's still great, holds a really good edge, but I'd say the only thing is man, it's heavy. It's a heavy blade. I'm sure you could dig with it with a shovel. I could see why they use it considered as a tool. Got a lot of hammer marks back here. Hammering it, batoning it. But there's some rust pitting on it. But I don't want to grind that out, ruin the patina, ruin the blade. It's the history, it's character. So the people who owned this knife and brought it over from the war, they were all quite well-known characters. This thing is pretty wicked. It don't have the cutting capability as a kukri or a curved blade. It's got a slight curve to it, but it's definitely a hacker, a chopper. Like 2 slices, two cuts with the kukri, and I could get through this thick stuff pretty easily. This takes quite a bit. Don't have that curvature where you can really get that good cut on it. It's just straight hack, chop it up. There you have it. The Sabre D Abattis, also known as the Coup Coup knife, or the cut in French is what they call it. Might be pronouncing it wrong. Not French, so forgive me on that. But awesome machete. If you're a big guy, handle some weight, be a good knife to carry. Me personally, I'd rather carry my kukri than this heavy beast. So hope you like my presentation on the Coup Coup knife. Seen a few online. I guess they are well sought out for and come with a pretty good price tag on them if you go to find one, depending on the era. They were produced from World War I up through the Vietnam War. Some other knife companies like Lorac produced some up past that and came with a plastic handle. In World War I, there was 3 main manufacturers. Can't remember the other 2, but some of them aren't stamped. The ones that aren't stamped with the manufacturer or the date, that's a World War II era, but this has got the stamp right here, and 1915 on it. So this has been around for a while. If you find one, pick it up. Just to have an old war relic. You don't see too many of these out there anymore on blade forms. A few people have some, but not as many. But being a knife, being over 100 years old, yep. This one was lost. It was lost to the wilderness until I found it. So who knows how many are out there just waiting to be found. But if you find one, pick it up. You will not be displeased with owning such a huge, heavy chunk of steel. forward to more videos of mine. I gotta get some more expeditions up there on my site, on my channel. Some of the stuff we've done. We'll have more survival things. I only have weekends to do videos and not that much time. You know, I'm a family man, so I try to spend time with my family too, and I can spend a whole bunch of time just to videos and editing them, so forgive me for the real low budget production of my videos and what I have to show, but I just don't have a lot of time to put into my channel right now. I'm getting it real dialed in, like Black Scout Survivals is, or Chris over at Prepared Mind. His channel is epically laid out, and there's a lot of guys out there who got a lot of time to devote to their channel and their content. And me, I'm just trying to get some of the rare things out there right now. Once I can, I'll devote more time to my channel, getting it all dialed in and whatnot. But just been excited to have some YouTube first videos, some things that haven't been seen yet, haven't been put out there, like the kukri that I have out there by Blackjack, knives, the Coup Coup, this one here, no video on it, or really a review on it. So kind of just been excited to be able to bring some YouTube firsts out there, and I'll have some more YouTube firsts, not only when it comes to blades and weapons, but some tricks and techniques on wilderness survival, keeping your gear dry and that type of stuff. And well, I don't know what to tell you, girl. You better go poop over there. What are you gonna wipe your butt with? Well, I gotta go find some natural toilet paper for my daughter, because she didn't bring any down to the river. So I'll be back.